We had a storm that came through here a couple years ago, and that's probably been about 3 years ago. And when that storm came through here, it really did a lot of damage. So me, knowing Chris, which was with SPG, a friend of mine, and I called him and I said, Chris, we're having some trouble out here with our house. A lot of storm damage, a lot of hail damage. This whole neighborhood was totally destroyed. Siding, windows, roofs were all taken completely off with some of this wind that was out here. We had contractors come through here, pamphlets, cards, everything was on our house. It was crazy how much was out here. And I called him and I said, Chris, this is Greg. We had a big storm come out through here. I'm sure you're aware of the storm damage that's been in this area. We're lost. We've been working with our insurance company. We're not having a lot of luck. Could you come out, just see what we have and assess the damage? So he came out, took a look at things, and what was amazing with what Chris had to say was that Chris had a vision of our house. That was something different than anybody else had. And what was amazing about that, he actually made us feel real calm about the whole scenario. Calm with the insurance company. He said, we can help with that too. We can help get you to the point that you need to be with your house. We can get you to where everything is repaired, not only as good, but better than it was before you started. And that right there, talking with him really eased our mind as far as putting the project together. So we started working with the insurance company. A lot of companies around here started working with the houses. Everybody was getting the work done. We were still struggling with the insurance company. Chris jumped in. He said, let me call the insurance company. Let me help you out with that. I can tell them things about the process that needs to be done. He climbed up on our roof. He took a lot of pictures. He used the drone, which is great in that respect too. He assessed things about our house that we had no idea that needed to be repaired. And that to me made a big difference because he was really articulate in the way he did his estimate. He would take us around the house. He showed us different things that really I didn't even have any idea was damaged, like window frames, window seals, that sort of thing. It's amazing how much hail can damage a house. It's amazing. So to get the house put back together, he sat down with us. We went through a book of colors of exteriors. We told him we didn't want to go with siding. Our siding, we had vinyl siding before. We didn't want to go with vinyl siding. So he said, let's go with Hardie. Make sure that the house will be withstanding for a long time. And he says, it's come a long way. We use this on a lot of our projects. And the neat thing about it, he said, Greg, you won't have to touch painting this for about 20 years, which was fabulous. To me, that was fantastic. It's like, great, no more outside work. So we got to looking through some of the colors and some of the ideas and the process of putting it together. One thing I was talking about with Chris as he's going through his estimate, I said, well, there's some other things we'd like to do while you're out here because I know you're a good guy. SPG looks like a great company to work with. We're happy to have you guys do all the work for us. But I said I have trim work that's probably been, I don't know, probably 8 or 10 years since I had it painted. And I said, I know there's some pieces on here that's probably going to need to be replaced. It's been up there 25 years. My house is 25 years old. So I said, let's look at that too. What would you do with this? So he said, Greg, you know what we could do? We could go ahead and paint. We could go ahead and replace. But he said for just a little bit more extra cost, you could actually have all Hardie trim. I'm like, I had no idea Hardie even made any trim. So I had to think about that for just a moment because I'm thinking, wow, so you're gonna rip all the trim off my house, all the siding, you're gonna take the roof off, and you're gonna put this house back together. We're going back to the frame on this project. He said, that's absolutely correct. He said, and it will look fabulous when we're done. You're gonna be amazed what we can do with this project. So we talked about that. I was excited about the trim work because I know I've done that myself and I really didn't want to have to mess with it either. And to have to hire somebody, again, you're going through a lot of different contractors on this. A lot of people you don't know. You just got to go by recommendations. So that's what we looked at. I was excited about the trim work that he was going to do. He showed me pieces. He showed me colors. Again, so many options. This was something that's different with SPG. When we had them come out and Chris sat down with us, we had options. It wasn't like we're just going to fix this and repair it and then you're going to be finished. Here's some options. Here's some things you can do. Here's something you can do to help increase the value of your house, which is really important when you're getting a house repaired. Something that will give you longevity for later on down the line if you decide to either stay here or sell your house. That's something that will work as well. So we decided to go with the colors we chose and the colors of the trim, put that together. They look great. What was amazing is that Chris said, so I'm going to send you with our app a 3D image of what we can do with your house. This image will give you an idea. And I'm like, you're going to send me an image of my house when it's done? Hey, I like that even better. Let's see that. I love this new technology. So he sends me this app with the pictures, and that was an interesting process because with the pictures, I took the pictures myself. He said, take about 10, 20 pictures out there. And he said, we'll put this on the app. And when he sent that app to me, he said, okay, here's your house now. This is what it's going to look like later. Totally different. I was amazed. And the neat thing about that, it was a 3D form. I could spin it around in a 360. I could see every angle, every side. I could see the roof from the top to the bottom. It was great. The only thing that was missing was the landscaping, which was okay. So that was wonderful. That made me feel really good about having them do the work. And I thought, this is fantastic. Now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, but would it really look like that? I think that's the question everybody would probably have. Will it really look like that? And I'm kind of like, I'm kind of guy like, okay, well, if it comes close, I'm happy with it. But I got to tell you, when they were finished with this job, it looked just like that. I pulled up that app and looked at it, and I said, I cannot believe this house looks exactly like this. The other neat thing about it was the way that they could edit that. So we had window seals on the outside of this house, and every spring I'd have to go out, sand the window seals, repaint them, that sort of thing. I said, can we get rid of the window seals? He said, sure. A few clicks, they were gone. It was amazing. I'm like, will it really look like this? Oh yeah, it will really look like this. So what was cool about it is that when we got done working with him, of course I felt more comfortable afterwards. My wife was comfortable with it. We enjoyed Chris, very personable, very articulate, and he had that vision. And for us, that made a big difference. That was something that uniquely set SPG aside from every other contractor that we talked to. So we had him come out, do the proposal, get the quotes. We went ahead and signed with them, and they started the work. What's amazing about that is that I've worked with a lot of contractors in my life. I've built homes with contractors. I've remodeled homes with contractors, but I have never worked with contractors, to me, that were truly craftsmen. But the people that came out with SPG truly were craftsmen. And I know sometimes when I've worked with contractors, and I've talked with other people about this, friends and so forth, you can't wait till they leave. I remember the last day, the head guy came out that was working on the siding, said, Greg, tomorrow's our last day, we're going to be finished. I'm like, I don't want you to leave. Because of the true craftsmanship that they had. And I remember talking to Brady about this. I called him and I said, look, I said, look, this guy is so good at what he does. I want him to stay on the siding. I don't care how long it takes. It's amazing just to watch what he does. They started early in the morning, stayed till late at night. It was amazing. I was surprised how long they were here the entire time. I could not believe the way the guy would do the work. And the trim guys, all of them, they had their own thing. The guys that did the roof, everything was synchronized in a way that made a lot of sense. Because a lot of times when I've had work done, it seems things that would go in backwards, like somebody would be there, somebody wouldn't. So the guy that was there, they would go ahead and do the work before the other guy could come out and do the work first. Kind of in a way that kind of thought, well, yeah, it would seem like it would go better if it were done in a way that do this step first, do this step next. But that's not how it worked out with a lot of contractors. SPG was great about that. They had the guys, they had the crew, they had the individuals coming out here that knew what they were doing, and they were specialists in what they did. And we really appreciated that, and it really showed the work too, and that was fantastic. And when they were finished, I had no questions, no complaints, nothing. I had no complaints on anything when they were done, which is a first. Usually I have, hey, you need to come back and do this, or you need to do that. Now I consider myself a moderate DIY guy. I'll do a lot of the work myself before I have somebody else do it. So this was a little bit iffy for me to have somebody come out and do such a big project. But when they were finished, my wife and I stood out in the yard and I thought, I can't find anything wrong with this house. Everything looks great. There's nothing I have to complain about. There was no need to call anybody back out because everything was done the way it was supposed to, the way SPG, the way Chris, the way Brady said it would get done. That was welcoming. We really appreciated that. We were just amazed by how well the project went from the beginning to the very end. It was all very smooth, and we really appreciated the extra help along the way. Chris's guidance, that worked out really well. We really enjoyed all of that. It was nice to see some of the contractors when they came out here and they were working with the house. And I know there was a couple times that I would actually go outside when I had a little bit of time just to watch them work. because there's some things I watched them do that I thought, you know what, I wonder how they're going to get that done. So for me, to sit outside and watch them do that was truly a wonderful thing too, because I was actually not only able to learn to see what they do, to see how they work, but just again, the craftsmanship that went in behind it. And again, that is amazing. I see a lot of contractors, but I see very, very few craftspeople at what they do. So we really did appreciate all the work that happened there. And the final project was fabulous in the way it turned out. We were so pleased with it. And we went ahead and landscaped it then afterwards. It just came together. I mean, the landscaping is the frame of your house. They had the picture, they had everything there. It just needed the frame around it. And so we were able to do that. But I also remember when they were taking the siding off our house and the way it was built and the way it was constructed. I mean, you don't know what's behind the exterior of the house. You look, you think, okay, this is the way the house looks like it's good. But when you start peeling layers off of a house, and again, I'm a modern DIY guy, so I know a little bit about something about putting a home together in the building process. But to see them actually pull it off and to see what was done there, it's like, oh my gosh, this house is going to be put back together way better than it was before it was built and during the process. And that's exactly what they did. SPG put this house back together as if they were building my home. And we just felt really good about it. I mean, we had no doubts whatsoever, not only with them working on it, but them being here and the time that they were here. I mean, they took them probably 3 months to do the job, and we were not disturbed by them at all. They were very good about what they did, very cleaned up everything afterwards, which is another big concern of mine when I have contractors around, because even if they do the job, a lot of times they leave a mess, a trail behind them of where they came in and came out. The SPG didn't do that. The contractors were really good about it. They took the time to do that. And let's think about it a second. You're working on a house today. It was during the summer. It's hot. You're tired. I mean, they probably put at least 12 hours in each day. They worked till sun up to sundown, which I was surprised about that too. Yes, I was happy about it to see them do the work, but I'm like, yeah, you guys can take a break. I want you to have some energy for tomorrow, for the rest of the week here. So to see them actually do that though and put that energy, that's dedication right there. Somebody, you can really tell a difference between somebody who has passion for what they do and somebody that doesn't. And they were very pleasant to work around, to be around, and the whole experience was just so wonderful. But going back to that, peeling the layers off the house and what actually was underneath it, there were things that we knew that needed to be done with this house after we got in it that needed to be done, just from various storms, rain before, wind, things that we thought, yeah, you know, that should have held up a little bit better. Maybe we need to caulk over here a little bit more. When those layers started coming off, we could really tell exactly what needed to be done. It's like, yeah, see, this is where the problem was at. So they came in and did the thing right. They said, well, the problem you're having with this window or that window or this part of the house is that it wasn't done like this. And so they would construct a way to put it together that seems so simple. It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it was so simple for them to do, like, this is the way it's supposed to be done, not the way it was done. And we know, even now, the house has been finished for some time, and we really can tell the difference just with the wind that comes through, the rain that comes through. We can tell the house is more solid, more stable than what it ever has been before, which allows us to think, you know, maybe instead of moving, maybe we should stay here, because when you move, you get a house either existing, you don't know what's there, or if you have new contractors come out and put the house together, you don't know what they're going to do. They've got a job to do, and they got a certain way they're going to do it, and to make changes really kind of is out of their way of doing things. This way we know what's been done. We were here the entire time. We watched them. We know they did a great job. And the finish, by the time they buttoned everything up, it was just great the way the house looked. So happy with it.